Okay, we left off last on part 1, taking 220 to the entire slingshot, removing the parting line around it as well as the sprue in the end. This is going to be part 2 of this video, and we're going to be starting this time with 400 grit wrapped around a flat vial again. And we're going to follow that same procedure of being square and flat throughout the whole process. Again, use the flat surfaces of hard metal, including stuff like this, round bars, round files, you know, different sizes. And by doing that, you keep everything square. I can't say that enough because it's really important. By the time you get done, you want things to be the same size and to look right. So this is the way to do it. A little trick I've learned is to use old towels like this, or this one here is a t-shirt, and what I use is just use it to wipe the dust off as I'm off my sandpaper as I'm going. See that? Goes right off. And so that's what I do it often to keep it from clogging. You hear that little when it does that, it's telling me it's flat on that surface because it wants to chatter across it when it gets full contact. Kind of a telltale sign. Just like before, use as many areas as you can. You know, even this edge like this, you know, to keep it straight and clean. Look at it carefully. Good light, you know, is best. And I'll even go out in the sunlight to make sure, you know, because you can see the best out there. And so usually when I get done with this 400 paper, I'll do exactly that. I'll go outside and make sure all the scratches are out. Just take it out in the sun and take a look. Alright. The bottom part has been done with the 220. The top has been done with 400. I can see some light scratches in here that I still need to get with the 400. Couple right there. Maybe one right there, maybe. Look at it closer. I hit these areas that are shiny. I'll start hitting these now with that 400 as well. There's a couple little spots still left from the other. See here, just a couple little shiny spots where I missed with the 220. So I'll go back and hit those real quick too before I continue on down here with the 400. Okay guys, I'm gonna be back. I'll show you what this looks like after the 400 is complete. It's the sanded to 400 grit. Still kind of a little chalky looking, but it's a very velvety feeling. Let's take a wipe this dust off it here. You can see what's going to happen. It's just water. I'm just wiping off the dust, but you can still see that it stays like that velvety look. Okay, right now it's getting close to what I started with as far as the way it looks, except for it's very much more uniform and just basically perfect right now. All right. This is gonna look unreal when I'm done. Still a little bit wet on the side here. You can see where it's wet, not. But it's got like a very smooth, kind of almost felty feeling right now. That 400 grit. There's not a line or pit in it, other than the scratches of the 400 grit itself. Okay. All right. Next paper we go to will be 600. Okay, here we are with 600 wet and dry paper. It's completely done with 400 at this time. Now we start with 600. Take a close look. See how it looks. You won't see much difference when I get done with the 600, but it's critical that you do it. Use the same method by wrapping this around a bar, anything hard really. I like using metal objects, but wood dowels work good too, and flat pieces as well. This has been sanded now to 600. Make sure every little scratch is out of it. Let's take it outside here and take a closer look. Okay. A little chalky looking. You can see this is dry. You can see the color is starting to come out. Looking for scratches. It's blowing pretty good out here. A little close with the marbling effect. Okay, I'm ready to go on to 1000. This is 600 completed. 1000 is next. Okay guys, this again was 600 grit finished. We're moving on to 1000. You guys already know the routine. Same. And again, don't miss anything. If you do, step back of sandpaper to get those scratches back out of there and then move back up. Okay, we're at 1000 grit. I will show you when I'm done. Okay, I'm back. This is now finished sanded to 1000 grit. And you can see the color is starting to show up even more. My next step is to go to 1500. And you guys know the procedure now. So I'll be back in a little bit and show you what the 1500 looks like. Okay guys, I'm now using 1500, and what I like to do when I get to even 1000, sometimes I'll do this, even lower grits. There's pros and cons about using water, and I'll give you a couple of them real quick. When I do things dry, I can see at all times just by going like that if I have a scratch or not. When you're in water, you're blindly sanding because everything looks shiny. So I do that at real fine stages, but I still have to go back out in the sun, take a look, and many times I miss things, I forget it. So, but here's the good part about it. In water, this sandpaper performs much better. It doesn't clog as long as you're keeping it in it. And so you can get the job done faster, and it works really nice. It's, to me, a better way to do it actually, but don't count on this all shiny surface being all bitchin' when it dries. It won't. Okay, so when you get done sanding, methodically going through the whole thing, because you did the other grits properly, that it'll work pretty good. You may have a spot here and there you miss, but you'll get most of it, and you'll get it twice as fast. So anyway, I'm still using, a little tiny bar just to make sure things stay square. Getting in here, looking real close in these areas to ensure squareness. And just a real nice clean surface, down like that. Same way, keep that water on it. But I do this, and you can take a look at it. I dry it. Want to go see it? Here, let's go out in the sun and see where I'm at. I've got a ways to go, I think. Okay. I've got to dry it off here. And it's looking pretty good. I got some in here to do. A little bit right here. Looking great. Got some more to do here. I can see that I haven't went over this spot with the 1500. And that thin rod I showed you, I wrap up and I do that there. And there. But you can see how smooth it's getting. And it's kind of starting to change color. I can see there, I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of a bluish blue color. Anyway, this is how I'll do the 2000 grit as well. I'll show you this when I'm finished with the 1500, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, matte grit 1500 finished. And now I'm going to move into 2000. And I did 1500 with water. And another advantage of using water is I don't have to wear a mask. It's screaming hot today, so this is great. I wear gloves. These are real microscopic particles that get in your skin and can irritate it. All plastics and resins and things like this is not the best for us. So take protection with that while you're sanding anything really. Any kind of wood even or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Fine particles, we breathe them in, it's not good. Get into our skin, can irritate us, again not good. So they both, dry and wet, both got their pros and cons. But like I said, in this stage, when it's really fine stuff, I like to have it where it's water because I can work it faster. So anyway, I'm going to go change the water and get 2000, and I'll be back showing you that. Okay guys, here we go. I'm at the final stage of 2000 grit. If you have 2500, 3000, use it. Go ahead and go through those two as well. Every bit we can get this way is going to take some of the time off from polishing. This is what I use here. It's called Novus 2. They make 1, 2, and 3. One's like a plastic windshield cleaner. Novus 2 is a fine scratch remover. And Novus 3 is a little heavier scratch remover. Now, it takes a fair amount of effort to go from this stage of 2000 to where this is going to take to a permanent polish where there's no wax on it. This is rubbing compound, but it's for plastic. And they make others, but this is what I use. I like it. And I'll show it to you how it works too. Anyway. Nice thing about this material, I don't have to worry about it like I do wood or you know, things that are a little softer. It's so tough, you can kind of bang it around and don't hurt it. Anyway, we went from 120 to 2,000, and we stepped it up by 120, 220, 400, 600, 1,000, 1,500, and then 2,000. Now, like I said, you can go further. Let's take you over by the light here. So you can see the colors come back into it. Very smooth. No flaws and stuff. It's now nice and square. So, how do we go to that next step to get it to look like that, or it stays like that? I'm going to show you. Okay, I cut a bunch of little rags up like this. Okay, and watch not to use even, I shouldn't even grab it like a dirty rag, because if you get a chip on it and stuff, you can rub it right into it. This is an old towel. My wife cut up for me. Okay. Now, this is not, like I said, it just doesn't happen instantly, then, and the more you do it, the brighter it gets. And I'll spend a couple hours doing this, but I wanted to show you here, just with a little effort, how things start changing. Camera went off on me. This is with just a couple minutes here, but you can see how it's taken on another look. It's going to get super bright. See, this is how it looked. This is how it looks, you know, on one side I didn't touch. See what's happening? And this will get much nicer. I'm just starting this. Alright, I'm going to put about, well, I'm going to put a couple hours work into it, then I'm going to show it to you again. Again, Novus 2. We'll check it out in a little while. Okay guys, I have that finished part right here. It's fully polished. But before I get to it, I want to recap a little bit. I started out with 120 grit. I went to 2,000 grit. We used different pieces of steel, round steel and flat bar stock, could be files or whatever, to help facilitate keeping these parts square. The areas that's important. When you sand by hand, we have a tendency to dig in. material is pretty tough. It fights back. Very hard to kind of do that, but when you use metal and stuff or wood dowels, it gives you some strength to be able to really get after this, and this type of material needs it. It's not easy to sand. Okay, also I just wanted to let you guys know that this material does have a UV resistant quality to it. I do add additives to it when I make these. Of course, resin and plastic, the sun is about one of the worst things you can do to it. Don't just let it sit out in the sun for days on end, or any time at all, really. I mean, I haven't seen a problem, but I know UV can be damaging. So protect your Slingshot, put them up. When you're polishing these things too, I typically use just towels like this here. Okay, cut them up in small pieces. I use them often. I use one and I put maybe some of that Novus 2 on there, and I'll spread it down the rag, and then I wipe it like you seen earlier. I might do that twice with one piece of rag, and then I move on to another piece of rag, a new one. I notice that it speeds up the process because of the rougher surface, although this is very soft still. But once you put it on there, it kind of flattens it out, and it seems to just polish quicker if you're doing it like I tell you. Alright, these can all be made and sanded by a machine if you wanted to. There's no way that you would keep this precision, and the integrity of the Slingshot could be compromised by whoopsies. Not saying it can't be done. You can carefully do this by using grinders or whatever, and sanders that are machine driven. Material will melt if you get it hot. So this is something I do by hand on every one of them. I lose my butt on them. I won't be selling them this much longer or this way. Okay? Look at the difference. Okay. Here's one I've started. Okay, same way, 120 with the file, cleaning up the edges. This same process can be used for all materials. Final phase with the Novus 2 is because it's for plastic. Okay. If I was to use metal, do metal, I'd maybe use mother's polish at the very end, which works very well, and there's several of those. I'll try to give you a closer look. I wanted to thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was long. I said things twice, 3 times, 4 times even, and sorry about that, but I felt they were important. So, take a look. Sun just went down, or not down, the clouds. That's what can be done if you follow this video. Like I say, if you're going to go through this much time, do it right. I got about 3 hours of that Novus 2 work on this alone. I got probably 30 hours actually doing it. It's not easy. I've done a lot of these. But you can see the difference. close, it's even more. It's just unreal. Thanks for watching, man.